The morning was supposed to be lighthearted and fun, a typical Good Morning America segment filled with laughter, casual banter, and music as Blake Shelton joined Michael Strahan to promote his latest project, but what unfolded instead was one of the most shocking live television moments of the year. From the very beginning, the atmosphere carried a certain edge. Blake walked onto the set with his trademark swagger, cracking jokes and flashing his easygoing grin, but there was an underlying stiffness in his body language that eagle-eyed viewers picked up on immediately. Michael Strahan, ever the charismatic and steady host, greeted him warmly, yet within minutes their back and forth shifted from playful teasing into tense sparring. The trouble began when Michael asked about Blake's decision to step back from The Voice, a topic the country star has addressed before but clearly wasn't in the mood to revisit. Instead of his usual sarcastic quips, Blake's expression darkened as he muttered that he was sick of people acting like they know his life better than he does. Michael, trying to lighten the mood, joked that Gwen Stefani might have had more influence over that choice than Blake was admitting, which drew a forced laugh from the audience but visibly irritated Shelton. "You don't know the half of it, Michael," Blake shot back sharply, leaning forward in his chair. Strahan, unwilling to let the tension escalate unchecked, attempted to steer the conversation back toward Blake's new album, but Shelton wasn't having it. He accused Strahan of always trying to twist stories for TV moments, which stunned the usually unflappable host. The audience grew uneasy, laughter dying down as the energy shifted from casual to combative. Cameras caught Strahan's raised eyebrow and calm, measured tone as he responded, "Blake, you know that's not fair. We're here to celebrate you, not tear you down." But the damage was done. Shelton, his voice rising with frustration, launched into a rant about the media constantly spinning his personal life into entertainment, declaring that he was done playing nice, just to feed ratings. The studio air grew thick with silence as viewers realized they weren't watching a scripted stunt but a genuine clash between two larger-than-life personalities. The tension hit its peak when Strahan, in an attempt to hold his ground, told Shelton bluntly, "You're on national television right now, don't forget that." Shelton shot back with a fiery glare, saying, "I don't give a damn, people deserve the truth for once." The crowd gasped audibly, and producers could be seen off camera, frantically gesturing for the hosts to calm things down. Instead, Shelton ripped off his microphone and stood up, pacing the stage as Strahan tried to defuse the situation with calm but firm words. The clash had crossed into uncharted territory, a raw moment that blurred the line between celebrity promotion and public meltdown, leaving millions of viewers at home stunned by what they were witnessing. As Blake Shelton paced the stage, his towering frame and flushed face making it clear that he was not about to back down, Michael Strahan tried to keep the show moving, though his composure was being tested in ways the audience had never seen before. "Blake, let's just sit down and talk this through," Strahan urged, his voice steady yet carrying an unmistakable firmness, but Shelton shook his head, muttering something under his breath that microphones barely caught, words that sounded like, "I'm sick of this fake crap." The audience gasped, torn between shock and curiosity, unsure whether this explosive moment was planned drama or a genuine breakdown. Kelly Ripa, who had been scheduled to join the segment later, was spotted off stage with wide eyes, clearly stunned at the unfolding chaos. Producers rushed toward the edges of the set, signaling to the camera crew to cut to commercial, but the live broadcast was already locked in, and millions of viewers were watching as Shelton snapped. The country star turned directly to the audience, raising his voice as he declared, "You think you know me because of what these shows tell you, but you don't. None of you do." His words echoed through the studio, leaving an eerie silence in their wake. Michael Strahan, caught between protecting the dignity of the show and managing the situation, stood from his chair and approached Blake, placing a hand out in a calming gesture. "Listen, brother, I respect you, but this isn't the way," Strahan said firmly. For a moment, it looked as if Blake might relent, but then he shook off the moment of hesitation, ripping the mic pack completely from his belt and throwing it onto the couch with a loud thud. "I don't need this circus," he growled, his southern drawl thick with anger. The crowd murmured, shifting in their seats as the tension reached a boiling point. Strahan, never one to be intimidated, squared his shoulders and said, "Blake, we've all got to deal with tough questions, this is what comes with being in the spotlight." That remark, though calm, seemed to light the final spark. "Don't lecture me about the spotlight, Michael. You've never had tabloids crawling through your garbage or people making a living off twisting your love life, Shelton fired back, his voice cracking slightly with the intensity of his emotions. You think it's all football fame and smiles, but you don't know what I deal with every single day. The audience, captivated, could feel the rawness of the exchange, and whispers swept through the studio. Finally, with a defiant shake of his head, Blake Shelton stormed toward the exit, muttering loudly enough for the microphones to catch, "I'm done. Screw this." The camera awkwardly followed him until producers finally cut the feed, switching abruptly to a commercial break. Backstage, chaos erupted. Crew members scrambled to intercept Shelton, who brushed past them, demanding to be shown the nearest exit. Strahan, meanwhile, stood alone on stage when the cameras returned from commercial, his calm professionalism intact but his eyes betraying a flicker of frustration. "Folks," he said with a faint smile, "live TV, sometimes things don't go as planned. We'll regroup and move forward." The audience applauded politely, though the shock of what had just unfolded lingered heavily in the air. Social media, however, had already erupted into a frenzy. Clips of Shelton ripping off his mic and shouting at Strahan spread like wildfire, trending within minutes under hashtags like #Blake meltdown and #Strahan showdown. Fans argued online, some defending Blake, saying the media had pushed him too far, while others criticized him for disrespecting Strahan and the GMA team. Within hours, the confrontation had made headlines across entertainment news outlets, with experts debating whether it was a genuine outburst or a calculated publicity stunt. Backstage sources leaked conflicting reports. Some insisted Shelton had been irritable all morning and lashed out without warning, while others suggested producers had baited him with personal questions to create viral content. Meanwhile, Strahan addressed the incident with grace during a later segment, praising Blake's talent but reaffirming that there's a way to handle tough conversations without walking off. The fallout only fueled more debate, with viewers split down the middle, and both men suddenly at the center of one of the most talked about live TV blow-ups in recent memory. The aftermath of Blake Shelton's fiery exit spilled far beyond the walls of the Good Morning America studio, shaking both the entertainment world and his personal circle in ways that left everyone talking. Within hours, celebrity blogs were running headlines like, "Blake Shelton explodes live on TV," and "Michael Strahan keeps cool amid Blake meltdown," fueling speculation about what triggered the confrontation. Fans flooded social media with opinions, some applauding Blake's candor while others accused him of being unprofessional. Meanwhile, insiders revealed that Gwen Stefani, Blake's wife, was blindsided by the incident. Reports surfaced that Gwen had called Blake immediately after the show, frustrated by his impulsive behavior but also deeply concerned about his emotional state. "She supports him, but she's embarrassed," one source claimed, noting that Gwen urged him to step back from public appearances until he calmed down. Blake, however, doubled down in private conversations, insisting he was tired of being treated like a puppet, and that the clash with Strahan had been building for years. By that evening, video clips of the incident had reached late-night talk shows, where hosts joked about Shelton's dramatic exit. Stephen Colbert quipped, "Blake Shelton ripped off his mic and stormed out, so basically, he turned into the country version of Batman." Though the jokes landed with laughter, the undertone was clear: Blake had become the punchline of the moment. Michael Strahan, on the other hand, gained widespread praise for his composure. Former athletes, celebrities, and fans alike took to Twitter to applaud how he diffused the situation without escalating the confrontation. "Strahan's calm under pressure is why he's one of the best in the business," one sports commentator wrote, echoing a sentiment that boosted Strahan's reputation even further. GMA executives convened emergency meetings that same day, debating whether to release an official statement or let the story burn itself out. Some feared that silence would make the show look complicit in Blake's accusations of being baited, while others believed addressing it publicly would only fan the flames. In the end, they issued a short, neutral statement: "Good Morning America values respectful conversation and appreciates all our guests. Live television can be unpredictable, and we thank our viewers for understanding." That vague wording sparked even more curiosity, with media outlets dissecting every phrase. Meanwhile, Blake himself finally broke his silence through an Instagram video posted 2 days later. Sitting on the porch of his Oklahoma ranch, guitar in hand, he looked more vulnerable than defiant. "I know a lot of y'all saw what went down on GMA," he began, his voice low but steady. "I didn't handle things the way I should have, but I also won't apologize for speaking my truth. I've given this industry everything I've got, and sometimes I just get tired of being pushed around." The video received millions of views in hours, with comments flooding in, some praising him for honesty, others accusing him of playing victim. The controversy also stirred reactions from fellow celebrities. Dolly Parton, ever the peacemaker, diplomatically said in an interview, "We all lose our temper sometimes, but kindness will always win in the end." Conversely, Howard Stern tore into Shelton during his radio show, calling his behavior a diva meltdown from a cowboy hat. The differing opinions only fueled the fire, keeping the story alive across every platform. For Michael Strahan, the incident turned into an unexpected career boost. His calm demeanor became a talking point for leadership seminars, and GMA capitalized on the publicity with a follow-up segment about handling conflict in the workplace. Strahan remained respectful when asked about Shelton, simply saying, "I wish him the best." Behind the scenes, however, sources revealed that Strahan felt blindsided by the personal attacks and believed Blake's outburst was unfair. As days turned into weeks, the story showed no signs of fading. Concert promoters worried about Shelton's reputation, wondering if his behavior would affect ticket sales for his upcoming tour. Ironically, sales surged instead, as curious fans wanted to see the man behind the viral moment. What was meant to be a damaging controversy seemed to transform into free publicity, though at the cost of Blake's public image as the easygoing, humorous country star. He had shown a darker, more combustible side, and people weren't sure whether to embrace or reject it. Gwen Stefani, meanwhile, stepped into the spotlight herself, subtly addressing the incident during a concert. "Sometimes we all say things we don't mean when we're under pressure," she told the crowd, her words met with sympathetic cheers. Though she didn't mention Blake by name, fans understood the reference, and the clip went viral as another piece of the unfolding saga. By the end of the month, the incident had become one of the most infamous live television meltdowns of the decade, sparking conversations not only about celebrity pressure but also about the boundaries of morning show interviews. Both Blake and Strahan had cemented themselves in a chapter of TV history, one as the man who lost his cool, and the other as the man who kept his.